a typical case of misrepresentation. Babu versus R.S. Singh, wherein you could find he told his wife within the hearing of the daughter that the bridegroom proposed to her was a young man. The bridegroom, however, was over 60 years. The daughter gave her consent to marry him, believing that he was a young man, which was said to her, which she overheard her father saying to her mother. Held that the consent was vitiating by misrepresentation and fraud. Consequences of misrepresentation. The aggrieved party, in case of misrepresentation by the other party, can avoid or rescind the contract in case of misrepresentation, or accept the contract but insists that he shall be placed in a position in which he could have been if the representation had been made as true. Losses of right of rescission. That in circumstances under which a person loses right of rescission in case of misrepresentation or fraud is, the aggrieved party loses the right to rescind or avoid the contract of fraud if he, after becoming aware of the misrepresentation of fraud, takes a benefit under the contract or in some other way affirms to it. In case of Long versus Leod, induced to buy his lorry on a false representation that it was in excellent condition. On discovering that the lorry was in a very bad shape, when B used it, he wanted to return it to A. A, however, agreed that half of the cost of repair and maintenance would be borne by him. Later, when B was running, he could find it was completely broken down, held that B could not recover his losses because the repairs, because once he had accepted and he had taken over the what you could say, bear the half of the cost for the repairs implied the amount of final acceptance by B. Thus, he could not recover the losses or the cost of repairs from A. The second case is if restitutio in integrum, which means restoration of original possession of the parties is not possible. Example, where the subject matter of the contract have been consumed, if it is some consumable or a perishable good, if once it is consumed or destroyed, further the contract cannot be rescinded in total because it is, the subject matter is no more existing. Third, if the third party has acquired the right of the subject matter of a contract in good faith and for value, that is, there is a contract between A and B wherein A and B in good faith, or A has misrepresented to B, but B in good faith has sold it to C. You could actually see when C acquired the rights from B in good faith, the contract cannot be rescinded. There is a case of Phillips versus Brooks. A purchased goods from B by fraud and pawns them to C. B cannot rescind the contract because the learning of the fraud is unable to recover the goods from C because B had already sold it to a third party. When it is already the subject matter is sold to a third party, you cannot get the rescindance.